Okay, hello everyone, it's me again. So today I wanted to show you guys this build I've been working on, which is a very complicated and specific build that has one goal, which is to farm as many treasure keys in lab as possible in as short of amount of time as possible with as little stress as possible on as much of a budget as possible. Don't be fooled by Calandra's touch. It's only reflecting this random ring that is like not even good. So yeah. So this build, I built it for doing EGG. I wanted to get treasure keys. And for those of you who don't know, you can get treasure keys in the following ways. You can get one from Azaro by killing him, and then you can get 2 extra keys from killing Azaro in the first 2 phases without getting rid of the mechanics that empower him. So your build has to basically not kill the fonts and the guardians or the generals and whatever. And you can also get one from Argus. You can also get some from Dark Shrines or Curious lockboxes, but that's just random, and I probably would not target farm these. And then, you can always get some from the chest as well. And also, this league, you have the option of getting additional keys by sacrificing a gem into the Divine Font. You can get like anywhere from like 1 to 4 keys by sacrificing a gem to that. So yeah, my build is basically optimized to get as many keys as possible. And this is kind of a complicated build, so I'll just show you guys like what it's like to run lab. And then after that, I'll talk about how the build works. But the main idea here is that this is a champion double strike of momentum build that is optimized for hitting one target and dealing as much damage to that target as possible, and then surviving everything that lab has while also having a reasonably high movement speed. This build in PoB, just to give you some numbers right off the bat, it's supposed to have 2.7 million DPS, and Azaro has 6 million life per phase. So this should basically kill Azaro in like 2 to 3 seconds. And then it has 300 regen with a little bit of ES to survive the traps, in conjunction with Ralakesh to not take damage while bleeding, and then also Arakali to take less damage against traps. And the movement speed modifier, if I have everything up, is 297%. So not the fastest, but 300 MS on a budget I think is pretty good. Note that this is also a very specific build. This build, as it is right now, has no ability to clear whatsoever. It can only attack one target, so it's very optimized for a lab, so bear that in mind. Without further ado, let me just show you like a quick run through lab. This is 75 lab we're talking about because we're farming keys, right? So yeah, I also did a lab, before this video, so yeah, I know where to go. But yeah, so basic idea is, permanent phase run. This phase run has 100% uptime, and then before the start of every zone, I just press Hatred to proc Adrenaline from champion, because I have reserved exactly like 51%, 49% of my life. So I press this, I get Adrenaline, and then I start phase running, and then I basically just run really fast and run through everything. I wish I had more than 300 regen, but that's all I could realistically get on a champion. Not sure what happened there. You can also attack mobs to get elusive, because this is a Nightblade build, which allows you to move even faster. You can also use a Quicksilver Flask, obviously. Not the fastest character ever, but, budget SSF. Okay. Yep, and just run through. This is also a pretty bad lab. This is like 8 rooms today, so not optimal, but it is what it is.
Let the day dawn golden with possibility.
You also gotta hit the Divine Blessing before you hit phase run, otherwise the phase run falls off. Yeah. One of the things I really enjoy about PoE is like building very weird specific builds to do specific things. And right now, oops, I got rid of my phase run, that was bad. And right now it's for, 40/40. I just need to open chests and get keys, or get keys, open chests. Okay, so this is Azaro. You can activate your Divine Blessing at the start to get Adrenaline, so you can move here faster, but then you gotta press it again. So here, activate Diamond Flask, Divine Blessing, and I just attack. And I only hit one target. I have no splash whatsoever, so there's a 0% chance. Even if there's generals like next to him, they won't die, because Double Strike only has one target and I have no splash, and I have no additional strike, so this build is guaranteed to always kill Azaro without killing the mechanics that spawn, so super optimal. And then I got bleeded there, but I have Ralakesh Pantheon, so I didn't take extra damage while moving. Also, yeah, basically. And yeah, not the fastest, but I got rid of my phase run again. And I did it again. Okay, there we go. Where do I go? Yeah, you do have to kind of hit your movement speed buttons. Hey, look at Darkshine. You do have to hit your buttons pretty specific at specific times, which is annoying, but it is what it is. What is this? Dark influences reside. I don't even know what all of these are. What does that do?
When the time comes to strike, an emperor strikes without hesitation.
Oh nice, we got a treasure key. Log in. So yeah, here we kill him again using this and Diamond Flask, and then, single target. And yeah, this is a champion with Fortify and like 20k armor, so there's like no chance that he didn't kill me. And I also have blind on hit, so first of all, he has like a very low chance to hit me, and even if he does hit me, with it being a champion, I can tank everything. I have 100% spell suppression, Fortify, 100% ailment avoidance, and I have a lot of life on hit and instant leech, so. And also evasion. Sorry. I am still sick today. But yeah. Kind of just run through. Gotta remember to hit Divine Blessing before a phase run. Also use the Quicksilver Flask. I always forget to use that. Not here. Divine Blessing, Quicksilver Flask, phase run. As you can see, it's reasonably fast.
Can afford to be promised. An throne is the most devious trap.
And then yeah. Oh, I also forgot to put down my melee totems, so I have like I was missing half my damage. All right, so totem, Diamond Flask, this. And as you can see, the damage is pretty reasonable for 75 lab. And I got 3 keys there. Oh, look at Divine. I got 3 keys there because I left 2 of the mechanics alive. Wait, shouldn't I have gotten 4 keys? I don't really know what's going on. Maybe I accidentally procced a mechanic. I don't really know what's happening. But I'm supposed to have 4 keys. Maybe I messed up. But yeah, that's basically the build. And then maybe we'll get lucky with additional keys here. If not, I'll just get some quality. Alright. I did not hit the treasure key thing. In my experience, the treasure key thing pops up like 1 in 5 or something, so that is what it is. But yeah, that's basically the build. 131 left to go. Cool. Alright, so now I want to talk about basically how this build works. First of all, I want to say that you should probably not copy this build. This is a very specific and complicated build that basically serves very little purpose other than to get keys in lab. And yeah. So, but the way that this build works, my main idea with the build is basically how can I get as much movement speed in SSF as possible on a budget? So like the things that I wanted were like, I wanted action. Sorry. So I wanted things like action speed, I wanted onslaught, I wanted adrenaline, I wanted a haste aura with extra effect, and I wanted like a shield because of movement speed. And then I also wanted Nightblade. So like that's why I went with champion. So if you reserve exactly above 50% of your life, then when you cast Divine Blessing using Life Mastery of, this one, it allows you to pay a very small life cost. In this case, my blessing, I don't know why it won't let me select it, but my blessing is 200 life, 50 mana. And the reason it costs so little mana is because I have it in Vertex, which basically allows me to have 50% reduced mana cost. In addition, I have Inspiration Support, so that reduces the mana cost to 54, and then it has a 21 life cost because of this Life Mastery. And then I press this, and it procs Adrenaline from champion. Right? And then Onslaught, I have Perma because of Perseverance, right, on a champion. And then I have Haste Aura, which I have 21% increased effect from my body implicit. And then also champion gives me an additional 35% aura effect on haste. And I also have like a little bit here as well, 6%. So that allows me to have a pretty big amount of movement speed from haste. And then I have phase run, which has perma uptime because I link it to increased duration. And then because I take Fleetfoot, I'm able to reduce the cooldown to 3 seconds. And because of increased duration, the duration is 3 seconds. So it's like perma uptime. I can just like move around with it and the buff never falls off, right? As you can see. And then I also have a Quicksilver Flask that has increased duration on it. So if I have everything up, it looks like this. Adrenaline, Quicksilver, phase run, and as you can see, I can move pretty fast if I remember to hit the 3 buttons in the right order, right? And then the Quicksilver Flask lasts a really long time, and the Adrenaline also lasts a really long time because I have Enkindling Orb with duration.
I can't do this just yet.
I think depending on the layout of the lab, you can change the enchantment. If it's like a lab that's like really short and has like really short rooms, you could probably get away with like using increased effect instead of duration, but I don't know. And then also, if I hit an enemy, I can gain elusive because of Nightblade, and elusive gives me movement speed as well. So if I notice that like my phase run buff is like about to run out, I can like attack an enemy, and that will proc elusive if I crit, and that'll give me even more movement speed, right? So that was basically the main idea, just stack as much movement speed as possible. And then being a champion, you also have access to the right side of the tree. So you're able to take a lot of movement nodes. So like we have movement speed here and here, which is pretty good. There's also movement speed available here and here, but they were kind of like far away. So I decided not to take them, because they don't really offer too much in terms of damage or anything. So yeah, that's basically how the build gets movement speed. And then as for survivability, being a champion, you have a pretty decent amount. This is a perseverance build, so I'm getting damage by skilling armor and evasion. I don't need too much of it because I'm doing 75 lab, but being a champion, you get, perma fortify, right? And then you also have pretty high armor evasion, which is enough for 75 lab. And then on top of that, you have blind from this, and dual strike attacks really fast. So, Izaro is always going to be blinded. And then you can get crit chance here. And also you can reduce Izaro's accuracy by 20%. And that means that he basically never hits you. And when he does, you can mitigate all the damage. And you also have 100% spell suppression. And also because you're on this side of the tree, you naturally have a lot of ailment avoid. So the tree ailment avoid in conjunction with 25% here and a little bit on my boots as well, that gives me 100% ailment avoidance. So, very, very safe. And then you also have a little bit of block chance as well from your shield, which also coincidentally gives you a little bit of movement speed. So yeah, that's the defenses of the build. And then I also had a hard time getting regen on this build because being a champion, you just don't really have access to any regen mechanic. But basically, I was able to run Arrogance Vitality, which allows me, able to run Arrogance Vitality and take this node here for 1% regen. And that in total gave me 300 regen, which is not much, but it's enough, right? It's enough for lab. Because if you move through the traps, 300 regen's like kind of good enough. And then, yeah. And then as for offense, the scaling of the offense in this build is actually kind of interesting. First of all, it's a Nightblade crit build. And Nightblade is really good because, you know, you always have the maximum effect of Nightblade when you're attacking Izaro. I wonder if there's a way for me to like set my Nightblade elusive effect to maximum because it says average. I don't really know. Like what happens if I just like move this up all the way? I don't even know what my maximum effect of this is, but that's a good question actually. What is the maximum effective elusive? I don't even know. Wait, I can test it out. Alright, I'm gonna go attack a random mob and then get elusive. Alright, it's 200%, right? So if I'm like fighting, if I'm attacking Izaro, like as he comes up, I have maximum elusive for like a few seconds or like very high. So we can actually set this POB elusive to like 200 and it'll be pretty accurate. So yeah, it's like 3.6 million DPS. And then, yeah. So it's a crit elusive claw build. Sorry. And, you know, just it has a lot of attack speed because you're a claw. And also one cool thing about Double Strike of Momentum is that it gains more attack speed every time you swing. So like it starts off at like super bad attack speed. Right, it only has like 5 APS, but every time I start an attack, even if I hit nothing, I gain a charge of Double Strike. I gain a stage, and every stage gives me 14% more attack speed, right? And because I'm using multi-strike, I attack really fast. So if I swing one time, I press this button one time, I gain 3, right? Because the multi-strike hits 3 times. So basically I can reach 10 stacks like super fast, right? I should also make this attack without moving because if you move, you lose the stacks, but I can basically ramp 10 stacks super fast and that brings my APS from 5 to like 13, 14, right? And if I have adrenaline, it's like even more. Let me wait for my mana to slowly recharge. So if I have this and then I attack, I have like super like 15 APS. And that basically is good on this build for a couple of reasons. Well, first of all, it makes damage scaling really smooth. Second of all, if you have really high APS, then you basically can have really good power charge uptime from Assassin's Mark and frenzy charge uptime from this Mark Mastery, right? Because normally 5%, 10% chance would be pretty bad, but if you have like 15, 20 APS, then it's like totally fine. I don't really know where the extra 5 APS is from, but whatever. And then as for accuracy, because this build is only designed to hit one target, we can actually take things like this, which is 50% more accuracy against marked enemy. And then I think there's another one here, 40% more accuracy against uniques, but I didn't even need to take that. Basically, I'm running a level 20 precision in conjunction with this mastery, in conjunction with this crit accuracy wheel, and from this I'm able to cap my hit chance against Izaro. Oh, I actually don't even need to take this. Oh, that's a mistake. Wow. Oh, shit. Okay. Well, it turns out that I don't actually need to take this. Wait, do I need to take this? Alright, I need to take this. So this mastery is like really good. I can get like 92 to 100% accuracy. Oh, that's so good. I gained 3 skill points. What can I do with 3 skill points? I guess I can take this for movement speed. And then, I don't know, I take this for life and evasion. Oh, it'll probably be better to take this. Nice. And then maybe I can get this as well if I can lose 1 point somewhere. Nice. Wait, I made my build better. All right, cool. Wait, I need to make those changes right now.
I can't do this just yet.
Okay, so I take off this. No, I take off this, this, and I take these, which gives me attack speed and movement speed and crit and strike range. Nice. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's basically how the build scales offense. And then, you know, it is a claw build, so you take claw crit nodes, claw attack speed nodes, and whatever cold damage nodes. I also did build this build with 100% conversion to cold, not because I thought it was optimal, but because I wanted to level with Frostblades. And I just happened to have this claw, which is like not the greatest claw, but it's like decent. I think this build would actually be a lot more optimal with Fizz. And then you could probably take like this node here, which gives you like really high impale scaling. Because like, you know, this would be really good versus Zaro for damage. The only concern I have with Fizz damage is, first of all, it's going to be a lot slower to level probably. Well, I actually don't know because there's some really good Fizz attack skills now that you can play on a champ. But yeah, I just wanted to level with Frostblades. So, you know, I just happened to like have a lot of gear that adds cold damage. So I just happened to build this as 100% cold conversion. I leveled with Frostblades all the way until 94. And then I respect at 94 to double strike once I wanted to turn it into a lab runner. And then I traded away my gloves for like, you know, Hermsaro so I could get conversion for damage scaling purposes. But yeah, I don't think cold is optimal. I think Fizz is still better. But again, I just happen to have the gear to make it cold, and I like Frostblades leveling, so I just happened to make it cold damage. There's also a concern with Fizz damage where Pride is like not optimal for a lab runner, because Pride only has maximum effect if the enemy stays in it for like 4 seconds, whereas Hatred, you know, you can just have really good uptime on that all the time. So yeah, but whatever. And I also had this Hatred Watcher's Eye for Cold Pen. So yeah, maybe cold is actually better. Maybe cold conversion is better. I don't know. And then for the Wildwood Ascendancy, I decided to go with Oath of the Magi, you know, for an attack build. It just seemed really good. I'm actually not using this at all. I use this for leveling, which helped a lot. But then the only thing I'm really using, well, there's 2 things here that is good actually. The first thing is obviously the tincture. I am using a tincture here, which gives me all damage can shock and cold pen. Ideally, the prefix here would not be overkill leech. Ideally, it would be like melee strike range, but this is whatever. The, you know, cold pen is obviously good. And then all damage can shock allows you to inflict shock, and critical strikes always inflict ailments. And this is a crit build, so you always get an ailment when you crit. And so when I was playing the build, I was like able to inflict shocks that were like 20%. I'm actually not sure how much I can shock Izaro for, but it's between 20 and 40% on this build. So that just gives you like a 20-40% more multiplier on your damage to get this tincture with a shock implicit. And then the culling strike here also helps out a lot on the final phase. That's just something I thought about as well. So yeah, it seemed to make really good a lot of sense to use Warden on this build. But yeah, I'm actually not even using Oath of the Magi now. I just don't benefit from taking anything else. I could technically take tinctures, have increased effect per empty slot, and then like remove a life flask. But I feel like running 2 life flasks in lab is just like nice. It just like feels a lot safer. just in case you like mash one out of panic and you have another one. So yeah, I have my tincture, my 2 life flasks, and then I have Quicksilver flask and a Diamond flask. And one cool thing is that when I attack Izaro, I gain charges on my Quicksilver and my Diamond flask. So like that allows me to like always have a Diamond flask when I'm attacking Izaro. And it also allows me to have, better Quicksilver flask uptime for the next area that I have to go to, basically. So yeah, the tincture seemed pretty optimal on this build. And then another thing that I realized was good is Detect Evil. This is like super sleeper, like OP. Not OP, but like this node I think is actually kind of nice because Izaro can actually spawn with a shield sometimes. And when he has a shield, that means he has block chance, right? So, like my shield, for instance, gives me, 24% block chance. I don't know how much block chance Izaro has. I could probably look it up, actually. I'm too lazy. But I know that he probably has block chance when he has a shield. So this node allows you to, bypass his block, which if he spawns with a sword and shield, then you can basically get like a nice more damage multiplier on that, which is good. Because otherwise you would have to like get it from an attack mastery. Monsters cannot block your attacks, but then you would be wasting a lot of skill points to get that. So this node, sleeper OP, like you don't really think about enemies blocking your attacks, but if you think about it, Izaro shield block, right? So I thought that was like a cool optimization. I did not think I would get, block pen this way, but, just happened to get that. And yeah, that's basically all that there is to the offense of this build. And then Anointing Heart of Ice just for damage, for faster phasing and stuff. Yeah, and that's basically the build. And then the sockets, the gems, are actually very specific as well. The core link here is Vertex with Hatred, Divine Blessing, Inspiration. That allows you to cast the Divine Blessing for cheap. And then, Ancestral Protector, and then War Chief and multi-totems for, melee damage scaling. Mark on hit, Assassin's Mark, 6 link, Elemental, Double Strike with Nightblade, and then Phase Run, increased duration, and then just a random Defiance banner, which I get for free because I'm a champion. And then my aura setup is basically Enlightened, Determination, Precision, Haste, which I can fit in thanks to this aura wheel. And then I also get increased life reservation of skills, which allows me to use Arrogance, Herald of Ice, and Vitality. I have to optimize the level of my Vitality exactly so that I am reserving just over 50% of my life. And that's very important because then I would be able to hit Divine Blessing and then instantly go on low life and then proc Adrenaline. So yeah. And then the other masteries are just whatever. Just like Nightblade effect, ailment on crit for the shock scaling, and then, just random life stuff, inversion, crit chance, what is accuracy and whatever. And then instant leech also helps a lot. And yeah, that's basically the build. And then, I have my config here with everything ethical, everything real. Yeah. Again, this is a very complicated build. And again, it has a very specific purpose, which is to farm treasure keys on a low budget with SSF viable gear. That is, if you count I mean, it does have Vertex in it. I'm honestly not sure what I would use if I didn't have Vertex. Yeah, I'm kind of getting carried by Vertex. If I didn't have this, I have no idea how I would activate my blessing. So yeah, this is kind of a very specific build. I would not recommend you to play this build in SSF or in trade. In fact, I would recommend nobody to play this build ever because it's very random and it's very complicated and it's completely useless except for one purpose, which is do this challenge. But I wanted to share this build anyway because I thought it had a lot of really interesting tech. I feel like a lot of interesting mechanics came together to make this build work. And yeah, I just wanted to share this build with y'all. Maybe y'all learn something from the various factors that scale various things in this build. Hopefully, maybe you learned a thing or two, or found it interesting, or curious, or whatever. But yeah, I'll link this POB in the description of the video. I also haven't streamed in a long time, but I do plan on streaming tomorrow. I have been sick for a while after I came back from vacation, so I just haven't really had the energy to stream, but finally I'm feeling a bit better, so I do think I'm going to stream tomorrow if you want to stop by. The game plan right now is basically just mess around and do whatever until it's a good lab day. And then once it's a good lab day, I just like run all these. I have farmed a lot of offerings already on this build from Heist. So yeah, all I need to do is wait for a good lab day and just like send this. And then we'll be at 40-40. And then after I hit 40-40, I have no idea. I kind of want to build like ethereal knives something and just like farm ritual. Not because it's good, but just to see what I got. Just to like turn off all my stash tab affinities, farm like 100 rituals and be like, yo, this is loot from 100 rituals and SSF. It'll probably be dog shit, but I think it'll be fun anyway. But yeah, that's the video. Yep. Thanks for watching, question mark? I don't really know what I'm supposed to say. Alright, goodbye.